Drogba indirdi ceza. Snyder. Snyder gol! Allah'ım gol!
Muslera! Fernando Muslera! Golün adı Muslera!
Sarıyoglu. Drogba! This is incredible!
Hello and welcome to episode 26 of The Lion's Den, a Galatasaray podcast done by the community for the community. From all around Florida, I'm your host Samet, and give a big applause to my fellow podcast members. We have from New York, America, our mobster Emre. How are you doing, Emre?
Doing good. How you doing, Samo? We never really ask you how you're ever doing. How are you doing?
You know, thank you for asking. 26 episodes and you're the first one to actually ask. I'm doing excellent. I don't think I've told the listeners this, but I'm becoming a dad. So I have this note at home and it has the gender of my soon-to-be child. Tomorrow, actually, we're going to know what gender it is. So maybe next week I'll break the news.
Maybe we should put our predictions in too.
You know what? That's actually a good point. Yeah. It was actually today, the gender reveal, but I said, no can do. I have a podcast. Can't let anyone wait. So thanks for asking, Emre.
You're welcome, bro.
Bromance moment.
Indeed. No Yasin. He got scared last time and we basically had a fight. So he's not joining us anymore. We're going to find a good
What happened? He
replacement.
couldn't handle the pressure?
Nah, he just can't. So, I mean, he's not a real Galatasaray fan anyway. So we'll see.
Damn.
Exactly.
You just had to say it.
So with that said, we got Coach Canada all the way from Toronto.
Mr. Qualifications, right?
Wait, I said Coach
Yes.
Canada. It's Coach John.
Coach John from Canada. Thank
Exactly.
you. Happy to be back. Happy to hear tomorrow's the big day. Looking forward to it. And just for the record as well, officially, my prediction is a girl. Just saying. All right?
Okay.
That's Coach John's prediction. If
All
you
right.
want it, so we'll see. Maybe next week, if you're up to it, you'll let us know. But that's my official prediction.
All right. And then we got Salih from the Netherlands. What's your prediction, Salih?
My prediction will be that the deal is going through for a transfer fee of 6 million. Will be a girl. And I think she'll be studying and achieving very high amounts of success as you being a hard-firm dad. That's my
Ooh.
assumption.
Okay.
I think no slacking around. She's going to be very disciplined. And that's my prediction, man. That's what I see. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Fatih Terim treatment, bro. No slacking.
No
What's your
slacking.
prediction, Samet?
What's the XG?
Well, let's ask you first, Emre. You broke the vibe, man. What's yours?
I want to say, I was going to say female as well, but I think two of the guys already said that. I know you said you wanted a girl for a child.
Mm.
I was going to go with female as well. But you know what? I'll break the ice and say male.
All right. Well, we're going to see next week.
We'll see.
Interesting stuff. Well, with that said, we forgot one thing. I know how I always complain that your fact of the weeks are boring, Salih,
Oh, shit.
but I hope you have one today, though.
Well, I'm going to be honest. No. Today,
I can't.
I
You
also
had
have
one
none.
job.
I know I had one job and I failed at that miserably. No, this time I did have the time, but unfortunately, after some Premier League action, I fell asleep and woke up just in time for the pod. Feel rejuvenated, but no, I didn't. I unfortunately didn't do my homework. So
That's a
I'm
big
not-
disappointment.
yeah, I'm not a Fatih Terim child, as you can hear. I'm slacking off, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You better come with a good one next week,
yeah,
man. Like,
bro.
you better come with the best fact yet.
Next one, I mean, I have to. After we win against Trabzon, I have to come up with a bomb.
Yeah,
ass
the
Not
fact.
just
pressure's
one,
on
but
now.
two.
Exactly.
You got to do two now.
We should find
Three,
a
actually.
punishment. We should find a punishment.
A punishment.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to you guys. I don't know what punishment would suit me.
Okay, let's think about it during
I
the
think
Something
podcast.
money
Summit-
related.
You should think about it, as you need to think about it soon anyway, in case your child doesn't behave. So maybe you have something in mind already.
This will be practice for Summit.
You got to come up with
Exactly.
the punishments quick.
I'm
Get
like a
used to
dummy
it.
right now. You can use me.
We're gonna
Test it out.
figure out a punishment, Salih.
If they want to do that, I'm fine with it.
All right.
I do honestly wonder, just on the side, right? I do wonder if Samet is the type that's I don't know, would have more of these mental punishments, like go read a book and tell me the summary, or would be more like just stand in a corner, go to your room?
Nah,
And,
nah. It's I'm like, I'll give you an example. Yeah, if I see that you're coming late at home while we agreed on a time, I come and find you, right? And I see you're still hanging out with your whatever broskies or something. I'll go there.
go.
I'll say, you
Okay.
gotta go home. If it's a boy or girl, doesn't matter. You gotta go home right now, miss or lad. And then I won't even drive you home. I'll just drive next to you and let you walk home because that's the punishment.
Damn.
Tough love. Okay.
Tough love. Gotta get some
This is
discipline
going to be
in there.
interesting.
Anyway, to all of our listeners, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today's podcast menu, we have, aside from all the baby talk, my alter ego updating you with all the breaking news on Galatasaray, that is. Coach Can opening the discussion on our away performance against Ümraniyespor. And finally, we'll close it off with some listener questions and our predictions against Trabzonspor. So let's just go straight to the news. All right, here we go. Breaking news. Jessa Sekdika's contract has been mutually terminated, alleviating Galatasaray of €250,000. Işıkkan Arslan and Eren Aydın will play in the second league as they are loaned by Galatasaray to Sarıyerspor until the end of the season. After Sevilla lowballing our club and Galatasaray blocking them, Sevilla shifted their radar and signed Tanguy Nianzo from FC Bayern. It seems that Victor Nelson is here to stay. Galatasaray submitted an opening bid for Brazilian centre-back Leo Ortiz. Red Bull Bragantino turned down the proposal as still far from the value. Personal terms not discussed yet. Galatasaray are expected to return with a new proposal. Ex-Trabzonspor player Anthony Nbakayemi, currently a free agent, was recommended to Galatasaray. The 33-year-old demanded a 2-year contract, 2 million salary, and a 1 million signature fee. Galatasaray has offered him a contract of 1 + 1 year, a salary of 1.5 million euros, and a signature fee of 500k. It seems that Christian Luyendama has been offered 3 million euros by a Belgian club whose name is not known yet. Reports are also emerging that Galatasaray reached an agreement with Norwegian centre-back Andreas Hansch Olsen. The negotiations with Gent for the transfer of 25-year-old defender are progressing positively. That's it. Not much actually happening this week. What's the most interesting that struck you, John?
Yeah, it's been a little quiet. Definitely. I think I'm happy the whole, everything that's been happening with Sevilla has sort of died down now a little bit. That was kind of an annoyance, and we were worried about Nelson. What's going to happen? Is he staying? Is he going? Like that whole thing. If we're selling, are we getting the right amount? So it seems like he's staying now, which is good. They can leave us alone, at least, I don't know, for the rest of the season, maybe. So that's a relief.
Yeah, we mentioned that the World Cup was coming along and would be good to keep him. So it looks like he's going to stay unless some English Premier League club comes up and swoops him for the 25 million release clause.
They just bought someone for 20 million from Bayern, so they do have the money to spend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was we went to Monchi, right? And we told him, listen, Markow got injured, right? And if you want Nelson to keep his legs, you back off and you give us 20 mil plus, or else, we might have some problems. And what happened was, he thought about it, and then he backed off. And so we get to keep Nelson. Win-win for us.
Indeed.
We made them an offer they couldn't refuse, right?
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, so that's Nelson for you. What else did you find interesting in the past week?
I was going to say Wakayeme. I don't know about you, John. The Wakayeme rumor.
That's another... Do you guys notice that there's a few things this season where, like, we have half the fan base on one side, half on the other side? Like, this is exactly that. Another one. The line has been drawn. We have half that are like, yeah, even though regardless of his age or price, he's proven in the league, he's this, he's qualities, this and that. And then you have the other side that are like, screw that. He's too old, too expensive, not even that good. I'm on that side, to be honest with you. But
I'm on the same side.
yeah, so I hope that doesn't happen. I don't really want him, to be honest, but I can see why some people would be for
Intrigued
that.
by the idea.
Yeah, I can see that, but for me, it's a no for me.
Right.
It would be the same for me. As I said before, look, as a player, I don't think he's a bad player. Obviously, he is proven, as said before. The problem that I have, again, what boils down with most players that we get is age. He's not an investment. He's just another short-term player who is already 33. He's already ran down a lot of kilometers, as we would say with a car, right? It's not going to become better suddenly, so I don't want to see this happen either. Again, look, if he comes, I'll support him. You know, I'll hope he scores 15 goals or whatever, but just if I had to decide to get him or not, I would say no. He's 33, he wants 2 mil plus. That's just, not for me.
What if he's like a
I'd rather
Toyota?
use Kerem. What'd you say?
His engine's still good. He can run, right? Maybe.
It's reliable, that's true, but I rather invest in a player like Kerem or someone else, right?
Yeah. Also, to add to that, and Wakayama doesn't run back a lot, Salih, so that's also one thing that you're right about. And since our left back is not very great at covering, open areas, and Wakayama doesn't help either, that's going to be a no-go for me as well. That's one of the biggest problems.
Let me ask this. Do you think Nwakayeme was better than Kerem last season?
Possibly.
It's hard to compare as we finished 13th and Kerem was like pretty much our only bright spot with a very, bad team, so to say. And Trabzon have won the league, so most of the players looked good because, well, they won in the end, right? So
Yeah, I would actually say no. I think Kerem was better, but the thing is that he was in a much worse team. So it's like sort of what Salih said. It's kind of hard to compare. But if we're just comparing individuals, I think Kerem was better. The performances he put in, and he was so clutch too. I think he was better.
The fact that you want to ask this question between two players who are in like totally different teams, it does show that Kerem has, performed very well. Because again, we finished 13th. He was our only, with Marcao and Nelson, of course, but one of our only bright spots in the team. So I would say Kerem too.
And if we go on Nwakayeme again, do you think he had a big part in the Trabzonspor championship last season?
I mean, for sure. I believe he had around 12, 13 goals, 10 assists. So yes, his goal contributions amount was very high. That is true. And also when he faced us, I mean, he is one of their more dangerous players. But again, I'm more of the type of person to build towards the future. And he's just not the future, right? He's quick fix for this year, maybe next year. The only way I can see this work, or the only way I could maybe accept it, if it is like, if they do it, right? If it's like the Mertens deal, a 1+1. Just 1 year, give it all you have. And if you do perform, maybe we'll give an extension, but it will at least be an incentive for him to work his ass off instead of just, sitting and chilling with us and getting his pay cut.
That's the rumor, right? It's a 1+1 deal rumor. I think we've learned from our mistakes of giving 4 or 5 year contracts to anyone above 30 years old. Shows with Mertens.
I mean, if Nwakayeme was good, why didn't they re-sign him on the same 1+1 year kind of deal, right? Like,
because of his wage demands, from what I understand.
Yeah.
He wants more money.
Exactly. And he might have realized, I'm not getting that money. And it's hard to go back and say, okay, Trabzon, I'm okay for this money. So probably his agents are discussing with other clubs, including Galatasaray, to see what they can get most out of. And I can understand people wanting him. I can understand the 50-50. Because for 1 year, if he can pull off the same performance at Galatasaray and brings us the championship this year, which he was a big part of for Trabzon last year, I can see why. Anyway, one thing I wanted to bring up is, which I didn't mention in the news, there's rumors about Dominic Torrent suing Galatasaray for
ruining his image, right?
For ruining his image, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of how true this is?
Get the fuck out of here. Ruining his image. He came here himself. He knew what Turkey was like. What do you mean ruining his image? My friend, you ruined your own image. Jesus Christ. No sympathy.
The thing is about how true it is. I also wonder, look, I have no experience in this, but is that legitimate a thing? We're asking reparations for ruining something intangible like your image? Like, the fuck is
It
that?
is. It is. Because
okay.
it's the whole Johnny Depp thing, right? With Amber Heard.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right? But the thing is, Galatasaray didn't say or do anything. They just sacked the coach. They're not the only club that sacks a coach. They didn't say anything bad about him. They didn't throw out a rumor like this or that. They didn't really do anything to ruin his image. It's not like that. So
No,
I
it's
don't. I think
defamation, and I don't think the club has defamed him at all. Like,
Exactly.
did they make any announcements about how bad he was? No, of course not. If anyone, it's the fans that defamed him. But can you sue the fans? I don't know. He's
Questions.
gonna sue us?
Yeah, I don't see what the case is there. Like if he was suing because of some, financial issue, then okay, I understand. But in terms of his image, I mean, what is the case? Like, what case are you making? Like, what has the club done to make you, to present you in such a way in front of anyone, the footballing world or anyone? So I don't know what the case is there, or maybe it's not even true, but it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit anyway. I don't think there's much truth to it. So, Salih, you spoke about making investments, transfers in younger players. So there's been one that's apparently we made a bid for Leo Ortiz from Red Bull Bragantino, Brazilian team. Leo Ortiz is 26-year-old center back. He seems very capable of filling Marcao's position as well, even though we got Abdülkerim Bardakçı. 26 is not your youngest, but it seems another scout transfer. I don't know if you guys know anything about this player.
Not me.
Yeah, I've done a little research and watching some videos, just curious to see what type of player he is, and I think I would rather Andreas Olsen that we've been linked with.
That's the other one that we're
And-
linked in at 25
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah, I would prefer that. I think not only would it work better with Nelson, but I think I just like the player profile a bit more. Like Leo Ortiz, he just looks like another. I mentioned to some of you before. He reminds me of Maicon when we had Maicon.
Mhm.
He reminds me of just a big, strong center back, but he's not that mobile. Like he doesn't look too comfortable with the ball at his feet. Like, he just sort of reminds me like that, which it's not always bad, but I like players like Nelson and Marcao where the ball is comfortable at their feet and you don't have to worry when they have the ball, right? Unlike other players like Luyendama, in my opinion, Abdul Kerim as well, that we saw in the last two games. But we'll see what happens with that. Definitely, I think it's between him and Olsen. But I think Olsen has been a bit more, like a popular rumor, and his name has been said a bit more. So we'll see how that comes along.
Yeah, will be interesting to see what happens. Especially the transfer window is closing 1st of September, right?
I think for us it's a
Eight.
bit later.
It's
It's
8th.
like the 8th, 1 week later.
That's
compared to the
true.
rest.
Turkey closes later, so I can expect to see some Fursat transfer, some opportunistic transfers there in the last week. So let's see what brings that.
We can maybe talk about Samet's player who's going to explode this season, Sekedika, his contract being mutually terminated. I wonder what you think about that, Samet. As you predicted, well, he did explode, but in a negative way.
I said he would explode right in our hands. So
Oh, so that's what you meant.
yes, that's what I meant.
Sure.
He's without a club right now. I don't know if he's gonna go to Abespor or not. There has been rumors about that, but he's been
Good old Abe.
he's been applying the Diagne tactic, man. I've seen him on Instagram. He's been running his ass off, training a lot, putting a lot of water on his body, so it looks like he sweated. So I think that's the way to, well, basically mutually terminate your contract, apparently. So to any football player listening to us right now, if you want to mutually terminate your contract without paying anything, just go train a lot, put it on Instagram, and do a lot of water on your body so it looks like you sweated a ton. I know Yasin said that it's possible for a person to sweat that much, but I don't buy it.
You still don't buy it? Nah.
No, not at all. Well, it's 250k euro we save, right, on him not being with us. And especially with all the foreigners we have, I think it's good.
It's still I don't know, such a weird sighting now that I think of it. When we got him, he wasn't that young either. I think it was like 24, 25. We got him for pennies from Eskişehir, if I
Eskişehir,
recall
yeah.
correctly. But we never really saw him. I mean, the one game that comes to my mind is when we played, well, I actually don't want to remember that game, but was the qualification for the Champions League against PSV, where he also played. But
Mhm.
besides that, we never really saw him, and now his contract is terminated mutually. So
He had 3 coaches to show his worth.
Yeah.
And apparently, yeah, if all 3 don't see him as a good player, then it's out of here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
luckily, he was basically for free. So I don't
Exactly.
care about it
Yeah.
too much either.
It was a transfer like we did with Valentine Ozornwafor, which we dealt very badly, sending him off. So, yeah, he went to Belgium and we basically sold him for pennies, and immediately they're trying to sell him as well for more. So
Yeah.
he seems to be doing good there.
One thing we should talk about, I just remembered. I know our president is a crooked man, according to John, but his mom actually passed away, Kezban Özbek. So rest in peace to her.
Yeah, that's true. May she
Allah
rest in
rahmet
peace.
eylesin.
Aynen.
Yeah.
Indeed. What do you guys think of us loaning out Eren Aydın and Işıkhan Arslan to Sarıyaspor?
Probably the right move.
Yeah, I think those are good moves to develop them a bit more and get a little bit more out of them. Looking at our squad this season, I don't see how they would fit in there. It's better for their careers. It's better for their development to be playing. Hopefully, they will be playing now, and who knows? Who knows how we'll get them back? They might come back much better versions of themselves. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I see a lot of people complain about is the contracts. So they're saying that Işıkhan Arslan and both Eren Aydın, when they come back, they'll have 6 months left on their contract, which I think is not completely true, because when I checked, that would be still another year left on their contract. But basically, having 6 months left on your contract means the Bosman rule. It's a rule which allows you to already speak to other clubs without any issues once you have reached that 6 months time period on your contract. And that's the main complaints I saw. But surely they're not going to make the same mistakes that we did with the other youngsters, right?
Probably not.
We
And I
hope
can
so.
see, the thing is, giving the bar to Elmas example, right? I've heard from plenty of people saying that part of the reason why he decided to leave and not renew is the day when Torrent played, what's his face, Van Aanholt in the midfield, when we had literally no one left there, and he's like, okay, I'm done, I'm leaving. That was the day.
Yeah, fuck Dursun Özbek.
It wasn't Dursun Özbek at the time though.
I didn't buy it.
Fuck him anyway.
Yeah, fuck Dursun Özbek.
I can see with this unit team and Okan Buruk, they'll find more time if they're good enough. If they're not good, we'll probably send them away for good or whatnot. Maybe we'll send them to the reserve league. I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the reserve league, against Ümraniyespor, our youngsters won 9-0, with Barış Yılmaz scoring 3.
Barış Yılmaz is a different Barış Yılmaz we're talking about, right? Because Alper Yılmaz played in the Super League.
No, same. He played also in the reserve
I think it
league.
was the same. Yeah, I think it was the same.
So you're allowed to play on the reserve league and the regular? That's
Yep.
crazy. Okay.
Yeah, they can play in both. That's no issue. All right. Well, with that said, John, I think it's time that we start talking about our game against Ümraniyespor. Maybe you want to kick it off there?
Yes, let's do it. So this was match day 3. We were away to Ümraniye, like you just said. This one finished 1-0 for us. It was another late goal by Bafetin Bigomis, who came in for Seferovic and sprinkled a little magic dust again and got the winner. He came on in the 78th minute. We'll go through the lineup, which was almost the same as last week, just with, I believe, one change. Backline stayed the same. It was Patrick Van Aanholt, Abdul Kerim, Nelson, Sasha Boy, Muslera in goal. The midfield was Sergio Oliveira, Emre Akbaba, and the first start for Lucas Torreira. And on the wing, we had Yunus Akgün and Kerem Aktürkoğlu, and Seferovic striking as usual. Some stats on this one. This finished with 60% possession for us, 40 for Ümraniye. And we had a total of 24 shots and only 10 were on target. On the other side, that's Ümraniye with 15 shots and 3 on target for them. I guess I'll kick it off then.
This is your time, boy.
Yeah.
Your time to shine.
I have a lot to say. I'll make it brief, get everyone's opinions, and maybe we'll come back. There's one point I think everyone's going to want to talk about. So anyways, I think that we started the first half poorly. I think that around the middle of the first half, we were still playing poorly. I think at the end of the first half, we still played poorly. I think it was an absolute shit 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Not really much change from the last match. In terms of some of our complaints, like Patrick Van Aanholt, I don't know what's gotten into him this year. I think he's playing horrible. Just no build-up play, no possession. Seferovic had an absolute sitter, which I can't believe. I'd like that. Maybe that's the first talking point we can speak about. Like, he was given a gift. I believe it was right outside the box, and then he dribbled in, took maybe 1 or 2 touches, and had the ball 12 yards away, maybe even a little less than that, and he passed the ball. There wasn't even that much pressure or anything. He had Emre Akbaba beside him, and he tried laying it off, but it just didn't work. I was so shocked to see that. Like, are you a striker? Exactly. Are you a striker or not? This is a gift. When you see that happening, your mouth should be salivating, like eyes fully open. You know, it's an absolute gift. So I didn't expect that from him. I expected a lot better. And he had a really frustrating match in general. What do you guys think about that, about Seferovic? Were you as shocked about that as I was?
Yes, I was shocked. He's my boy because he's the one I covered for our, little story shorts. And it's a little sad to see that he's not up to par to his usual standard at all. Like, we all knew Seferovic isn't like the best finisher or whatnot. He's really good at link-up play and stuff. But even these, man, this is like food on a silver platter, man. You take these, there's like no reason why you shouldn't score that. And I think it just comes down to just like mental issues. I think he's just not there mentally right now, because why would you give it to Emre Akbaba, who's being marked by a player?
And offside.
And he's offside. Like, that's actually a worse decision to make than just trying to go for the shot. Like, you never know. Like, I don't understand what's going through his head right now. He's just not in a good place.
That's the exact same thing I wondered. Like, he's a striker. That's like his thing, finishing, right? He had
Salih,
I
hate to say it. I hate to say this again, Salih. Sorry to interrupt you, but is it not his bread and butter?
It's
Is it not?
Be his bread and butter.
That should be your bread and butter, man. You're at the penalty spot with no pressure.
he said the word. he said the word.
The thing I wonder, just like Emre said, was it like what happened there? Was it something mentally that hit him there? Like, did he suddenly become unconfident? Because again, maybe just like Akbaba during the friendlies, he banked those in, right? He took him, but this time I have no idea what his thought process was over there. That was just piss poor. Luckily, it didn't cost us the match in the end, but obviously that's more second half talk. But if that did cost us the match, I think we would be in a different mood right now and would be fuming. Because that should be it. That should be literally 1-0 already.
And that was like the first 10 minutes. You scored that first 10 minutes. That's a completely different game right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was also another 1 or 2 chances in the first half as well where the ball was just played in and he either had like a bad touch or like just received it awkwardly that just spoiled the chance. And I just really, really thought that it would, and this is just one game, keep in mind, he might have just had a really bad day, but I really thought it would be different with Seferovic. I just thought he would be a bit more clinical.
The way he moves, again, just like you say, we're overacting maybe because it's again one game, right? But the way he moves, he looks so, how should I put it, white, stiff. He looks very, I don't know. It's like a piece of
his body language is off. Is I think what you're trying to say.
Exactly. It looks like a tree branch or something that's walking around. It looks kind of weird the way he moves around.
He's Groot.
Yeah.
Are you describing Jagnet?
Yeah,
Oh
I don't
my
want to
God.
compare it to Jagnet because that's like the ultimate sin, right? But that's the thing I got from first half. He looked kind of clunky to me, especially after that first miss. I hope it's a one-time thing or something that's not going to continue for a longer time, because the last time he played against us, right, when we played him in the Champions League, he looked very different over there. I know it's 2-3 years ago, but
You make fun of Jugnet, but Jugnet would score that. He would take that shot. He wouldn't pass that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You would
for
shoot
sure.
it.
But Benfica fans are already saying, "Oh, classical Seferovic."
yeah, but we knew that, right? Also, when Emre looked it up, he does get into the positions usually. It's just his finishing is not like out of every 10 shots, not all 10 go in. Basically, like 4 or 5 go in. We did know that, but today maybe it looked worse because in the first half we weren't creating a lot of chances anyway. Maybe that's why it feels extra sour that he missed them. But yeah, second half at least. Not his performance, but we look much better, but we'll get into that later.
Sorry, one more thing about Seferovic as well. We mentioned the Benfica fans are saying, this is vintage Seferovic. But what I find interesting about that is look at the goal he scored against Kasımpaşa in the friendly. That's just absolutely clinical. Like the ball came through, he took one touch on his left foot and buried it.
Yeah.
No hesitation, no second thoughts. The ball came through, touch, score. So it's like he has it in his skill set. So I don't know, maybe if there's a mental issue. And like I said, it was just one game. So let's see, if this is a pattern for the whole season, it's going to be an issue. But
what I want to say is like everyone needs to calm down. It's the starting of the season. It's our third game. And he had just one bad game. It happens to the best of us. So we just have to say, okay, he was bad this game, but you cannot write him off immediately, which is what the Turkish fan base loves to do, right?
yes.
Immediately, Kerem is shit. Immediately, Seferovic is garbage. Sasha Bowe, he can off. We just have to relax, calm down, and talk about what's really the problem. And for me, that was the tactics that we saw. And what am I saying with that is, against Giresunspor, where we lost, in my opinion, we played better. If we compare both the two halves, the first half of Giresunspor, I thought we were doing really good. The second half was complete soup. And now against Ümraniyespor, first half, I had no clue what was happening. Second half, I had no clue what was happening. And that's a problem for me. I want to see like some standards being applied, like when you pass the ball to your right winger or your left winger, where you automatically see Sasha Boye or Patrick Van Aanholt making those overlaps, like grinded in their minds and completely doing it every time. And I didn't see that at all this game. Especially the first half was very hard. Like we got chances, and if Seferovic scored those goals, we would be talking differently. However, that was not the case. And
maybe I can get into it now. The main, I guess, talking point for me in terms of how we're playing, our style and tactics that Okan Buruk is using. The biggest problem for me right now is I feel like our two best attackers and arguably the two best wingers in the league, Kerem and Yunus, I think they're being criminally underused and underutilized.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what the reason for this is, but if you watch these matches, especially the last match, we're playing so narrow. And this is a really big problem for me because for a lot of reasons, but especially think about it, right? If you're on a football pitch, the more narrow you play, if everyone is playing in the middle of the pitch, you make it easier for the other team to defend you. All of your players are right there. Everyone is central. Right? It's easy to defend. All the players are there. If whoever has the ball, you take 2 steps, you can close them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have these players that are so fast, so creative. They take players on. They can make so much happen, and they're playing so narrow. And I don't know why Okan Buruk is insisting on that. We can't get anything going. And then we're attacking and playing with the back line. We have right in front of the back line, all standing next to each other, we have Kerem, Emre, Seferovic, Yunus. And then where the wingers are supposed to be, we have our fullback, Sasha Boye and Van Aanholt, who they can't cross the ball. The service is actually absolutely horrible. And because everyone's playing so narrow, we can't keep possession of the ball. If we can't keep possession of the ball, we can't control the game. And then you get what we saw yesterday, just nonsense. The ball just ping pong, bouncing back and forth, up and down the pitch. No team has control. It's just a disaster. So I really wish that Kerem and Yunus were playing high and wide so that when we give them the ball, they have time, space, they can take players on one-on-one. We can play them through in behind the back line, right? And if they can't beat a player one-on-one, if we can't play them in behind and they have the ball, then we have Sasha and Van Aanholt who are there to support. They can make overlapping runs. So this is a very big problem for me that I hope we address. And I hope that we start getting some control over these matches. And it just really does my head in watching this. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I'll say this much. One thing this game definitely revealed to me was that Marcau's presence was a huge importance for us, and it's going to be very, very missed. One of the things I've definitely noticed that is Van Aanholt has been covered by Marcau. Now that Marcau's not here, you can really see his negative sides. He's like nowhere to be found on the pitch sometimes. He gets lost. When he does get forward, he doesn't. This guy, I don't know how you played in the Premier League when you cannot put in a single damn cross into the box with some degree of accuracy. Just thinking about it is getting me.
Don't do my boy
fuming.
like that. Don't do
Your
my
boy needs
like
to step
that.
up his game. Okay?
My boy is
We're not
being
protecting Dutch rights anymore.
My boy is
no.
being heavily underutilized, just like Kerem and Yunus.
Underutilized.
Exactly.
No, he's not underutilized. His legs just don't work, it seems. He just doesn't know how to cross. He's getting into those positions, but he just cannot bring the final product.
Yeah.
I want to see Kazımcan from now on. That's one. I think our wingbacks are not exactly what Okan Buruk wants. I think he prefers to play a game, a system where the wingbacks are more involved with the game and the wingers are more central. And I get what
And
Jan
that's
is
what
saying.
Patrick van Aanholt does best, going more central, helping the midfield out. And that's what how Torrent used him actually last season. We saw that over and over, and he was doing really well. And I recall all of you guys praising the fuck out of him. So that's not happening anymore. And it's basically all on how Okan Buruk utilizes the players. And the game against Ümraniyespor, yeah, we won 1-0. 3 points. It's going to be super important for us in the title race. But are we utilizing all our players
Samet,
correctly?
I don't need Torrent or Okan to utilize a wingback in the midfield. I need the wingback to utilize his skill set where it's needed as a wingback. You know, putting crosses through, connecting our flanks with the forwards. And he's not doing that. Bowie is doing that way more. And you can see that Bowie had a much better game than Van Aanholt. He had really good crosses.
That's also my boy.
He gets forward. Yeah, my boy too. But you see there's a difference between them
Rogon's
two.
boy.
That's one. And also, you talk about the Giresun game. The second half was complete trash. It was like the opposite, where this game in the beginning was terrible. Second half, I felt we were much better. We had the ball way more. We attacked much more often. And I think Okan learned his mistake about having both Gomis and Seferovic on the pitch at the same time. It just doesn't work. And I think he will learn with the wingers too. Like the winger situation, I think eventually he will learn that, okay, this is not working out. He will switch it up a little bit. But I think we got to wait and see what our official midfield will be, because Oliveira, man, he's another name we need to talk about aside from Seferovic. He drove me absolutely insane.
You're too harsh.
Absolutely insane. Because I don't know if I'm just getting Selçuk İnan PTSD vibes from him, but it's just driving me insane.
Prime Selçuk İnan?
No, the pass back,
He's
pass
trying
to the
alienate
side. Pass to the side, pass back to the keeper Selçuk. There was so many positions that our wingbacks made, and I'm like, oh, he's going to pass to, Sasha Bowie or Van Aanholt, and he didn't. Like, at his caliber and, what he's brought to this team to do, he's not doing any of that. He had one, really good pass, and that was that backheel 180 pass to Seferovic.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only thing I can remember from the game, unless you guys can prove otherwise. Because I just know he made a ton of losses. His defending is okay, but his body language is he's very stiff and slow. I don't know. I think he's
Just vibing.
he's not. I think the official midfield, I don't know if you guys will agree with me, it'll be Micho, Herrera, and Mertens for now.
For
Yeah,
now, that looks the most ready and match fit, but I would say don't underestimate Sergio Oliveira. I think he has a amazing skill set, and that back heel 180 pass that you said, showed some glimpses of that. But you have to understand, this team has no clue where they're running to. Like, there was also a pass by Sergio Oliveira towards Yunus Akgün and Emre Akbaba. And basically, it didn't reach them because they don't know where to run to. And it's also partly because they were so narrow and not playing wide at all. It's just all a big part of the problem.
I'm just talking about like simple passes that he should be able to do with his eyes closed. Not like those really long Wesley Schneider type balls. Those I understand. No one is gonna. No one's Pirlo. No one's Schneider. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about general play from Oliveira is just very off. And I may be a little harsh, but like we brought him in for 4 years on a really high contract, and I'm just like getting this like really bad vibe.
And this is what I mean. Up in our hand. We shouldn't write him off immediately.
I'm not writing him off. I'm just very concerned. I hope he gets better. But I'm just gonna point it out. You know, we pointed history, out, right?
Based on what we've seen
like
before.
Past 2 games, maybe 2.5 games. I didn't really like what I saw from Oliveira.
I don't mind so far how he's playing. I'm not gonna go out and say I think he's been playing amazing, but there's a few things that I think about that could be pulling him back a bit in terms of how he could be performing. And I think one of them, you know, the obvious is that we have a new team. And that goes for a lot of other players trying to find their place in the team, building chemistry with other players, things like that. Another thing is exactly what I was mentioning before and what Samet mentioned before. Like as a midfielder, right? We're playing with 3 midfielders. When you have the ball in the midfield, if there's pressure on you or whatever the case is, you use your outlets on the wing to relieve that pressure or keep possession of the ball. And even when I think it was Mazar was doing the his write-up on Sergio Oliveira, and even the videos we were watching, studying him and looking at his play style, one thing that stood out was those long balls. He would always switch to the wing, right? Like he would get the ball, take a couple touches, switch to the wing, right? Well, that's non-existent. He can't do that anymore because everyone's playing in the middle of the pitch. He can't use his outlets anymore to keep possession because everyone's in the middle of the pitch. There's no outlets. And that's a big problem, I think. So I'm hoping if we can change this play style a little bit and he gets a little more comfortable with the players around him, that we'll see an improved Sergio Oliveira. But one more thing about him as well that no one else on the pitch has, and I'm including Mertens in that as well.
That ball.
Sergio Oliveira is an elite set piece taker. Elite. Every free kick he's taken so far, he's almost scored. Every one so far. He's elite when it comes to that. He's taken a free kick from close range, medium range, long range, the one in the first match where he hit the crossbar. So you have to keep that in mind as well. That's something he has that I don't think anyone else has.
Crossbar boy, man. He's taking over Hamit Altintop's role.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, just one small thing, if I had to add anything, because we've talked pretty in detail on the first half on our performance. The thing when going forward, well, John already explained very clearly on how he played on that. The thing I want to touch on a bit, or not necessarily touch on, that I just want to mention. In the back, or maybe our team in general, first half, we lack chemistry, man. A lot of simple passes, especially in the back. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like nothing arrives at the correct player. It either goes out or goes wide. Muslera had like also 2 free kicks which went out again. That's worrying, but again, I think that's chemistry as we have a lot of new players. That should be, fixed over time. That's just something I wanted to mention too. As it also, I really noticed that first half. Because I was watching along with
Our midfield's completely new.
It is, and I was watching along with my father, right? And we were watching with Dutch commentary because apparently the Dutch television broadcast also does it now. And I like to hear some unbiased stuff from time to time as well. But even he was kind of in shock, right? He was like, Paul, like what is this? What is that? He was also surprised that this is like the highest level.
Yeah.
And the first half just wasn't it. But yeah, on to the next topic.
Fully agree. Initially, I thought like, hey, maybe Okan Buruk doesn't want to press the first half that much like he did against Giresunspor, and they just want to chill out a bit. But then I saw, okay, the ball went to Muslera kicked it away over the midfield. I mean, we got short players. That's not the best solution for us. So I don't know what the plan there was. I guess it's just the chemistry missing and that we can't really outplayed him from the back yet. So we'll see what time brings.
Also, I don't think he wants to take chances like we did last year trying to play out the back. And how many times did we concede because we tried to play out with like Thailand or something?
yeah,
They
Abdulkarim is now the guy.
mis-
He almost did it again.
Misplace. Exactly. But think about doing that nonstop
Mhm.
and conceding. So I think that's part of the reason. And again, we don't have a midfield that's completely meshed yet. They don't know where to stand, like John said. So it'll take time. We'll see more improvement, I hope.
Yeah, and then I guess if you want to jump in and just a few talking points for the second half. The second half started and we brought on Mertens, and I noticed an improvement when he was playing. I noticed a little bit more
Factual.
control over the match when he was playing, and he has that presence when he's on the pitch. You can feel when he's on the pitch, you know, like the ball is always at his feet. He's always looking forward. He's always looking to, you know, to make that pass that sort of breaks through. So I think when he starts, we will see improvement, you know, in the whole match when he is playing regularly and not just, you know, 20 minutes or one half. But I did notice instant improvements. Still, I think Okan Buruk has a lot to figure out, and I'm very disappointed in him that he couldn't do this, even though he had a full preseason with many of these players, you know, just not the midfielders, but pretty much everyone else. I'm really disappointed in that. And another I guess highlight was there was a beautiful ball from Kerem played into Seferovic that was squandered as well. He had sort of an awkward touch that hit the post and he couldn't tap in the rebound, and then he was visibly frustrated, punching the air and stuff like that. So that was a frustrating day for him. And then we had the goal, and I think that's the main talking point, that Gomis for the second game now has come in the last 10 minutes or less of the match, and he's won it for us. And like, you know, the first goal he scored, there was a bit of build up and Midshu made a nice, you know, he sort of just laid it off and Gomis finished it. But this goal, he controlled the ball and turned and just banged it. Like, it caught me so off guard. Like, I was sitting there and I just jumped up. Like, it was such a surprise. So it's a bit alarming. We haven't been able to score during the match. Only the goals we've scored have been in the sort of dying moments. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about Gomis, the lack of goals, you know, him saving the day for us twice now? What do you think?
One thing we didn't talk about is how Ümraniye played. We got to give it to Ümraniye. I think they actually played really well for what they have in their hand. And let's not forget, Antalya also played this team away, right? So they played against them and they also beat them 1-0. In a very tough, like, the game was going to end 0-0. And with us, we actually had more positions than Antalya had. And Antalya today beat Trabzon with a high margin. So clearly they're not an opposition to be taken lightly. Whatever their coach is doing, he's doing great. But like you said, I think Mertens was definitely an asset for us. You can clearly see that. He brings more variety in the midfield as opposed to Emre Akbaba. And it really opened up some space for our wingers and our midfielders and our wingbacks. I like how we played in the second half. I know it wasn't the greatest, but these are the type of games that you're going to have to take. And like, if we look back to when Okan Buruk became champions of Başakşehir, his first 2 games he lost. He lost in 5 games. He only had 1 win, 2 losses, 2 ties. So I think he's going to start out bad. I know you want him to be better. I think he'll be better, but these 2 games are very important for us. I know we should have definitely won Ümraniye, but what do you guys think the midfield will finally be like once it's meshed? What the game plan would be?
Unfortunately, I don't think that Midshu is going to start. I think Sergio Oliveira is going to keep his place there. It's very tough. Midshu is so good, man, but he got hurt. Unfortunately, he's been injured. But I do think it's going to be Sergio Oliveira, Torreira, and Mertens in front of them, and I think that's very good. I think that's a very, very good balance. Lucas Torreira is, just despite his size, he's like a little pit bull. I think he'll be a bit more of an anchor, a ball winning midfielder for us. Sergio Oliveira is a bit more of a balanced player in terms of keeping possession, linking both our wingers and forwards with our backline. And Mertens just has the sauce, man. He's so good attacking, passing, dribbling, shooting. He's so good, man, despite his age. I can just see when he's fit and fully playing, it's going to be such a huge asset. So I think that's what the midfield is. I think it's a good balance. I think it'll work well. And I don't know. I guess Midshow can be rotated in. I guess he can definitely come in off the bench for Sergio maybe. But I don't think he's going to be starting. I don't think that's the plan. But we'll see what happens. Who knows with
I also
Okan
had this
Buruk? I don't
thought.
know.
Mhm.
What if we had a midfield consisting of Micho, Pereira, and in front of them Oliveira and Mertens on the left?
I think we could, but I just don't think Sergio will be that good for that position. Like he should be more central as opposed to a little higher attacking. I don't think he'll be good in that position. We have a lot of flexibility with Mertens. He can play at the 10, he can play winger, he can play striker. So we might see some variety like
Because
that.
one thing I saw in the game, I don't know if you noticed, but I saw Oliveira getting caught way too far up on the pitch multiple times. Kind of left Herrera on his own to defend a lot of the times. And
Yes.
so I'm thinking, since he likes to push up so much, he likes being involved in the attack, why not put him up there for now? You know, because Emre Akbaba is clearly, okay, Emre Akbaba, I don't want to shit on him, but he doesn't really bring that vision and creativity to the midfield as a number 10. I think Oliveira would be a better fit for now if we're not going to get like a dedicated number 10. Unfortunately, Samet's favorite player, Evander,
Bruh,
didn't come yet.
are you saying Oliveira should be a 10?
Yeah, why not?
You're crazy, bro. You're crazy.
Why
He's
not?
not a
Why
10.
not?
He's an 8.5. It's like putting in
8.5.
It's like
Two
I
putting
eights.
think he has a point.
This
Though. I
ti-
think he has
it's-
a point. Honestly,
who?
Emre, look.
You're crazy, bro.
Let me
You're
let
crazy.
me put it this way, right? We talked for I don't know how long about the first half. Did we ever mention Akbaba? Exactly.
Well, he
That's
was
his impact.
he was the
That's his
person
impact,
that
bro.
gave Sefo his first chance.
Then again, I don't know. I
He
really
pushed
don't see what Akbaba.
Ümraniye into a
As to the team.
mistake and got that ball.
I just don't see, like, we're just saying this. We're just saying to put Oliveira at 10 and Mertens on the wing just because we want to force including Midshow, which we shouldn't do that. You know, it
Mhm.
should be one or the other. Like, I think Midshow and Torreira, I think that's a little bit too defensive, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Torreira, Oliveira, and Mertens in front of
Perfect
them.
balance. Perfect balance.
It's really balanced, but
Mhm.
with the players we have, the flexibility's there. That's what I'm saying. So if we need to do that, then we can do it because we have the players that, you know, are all at a good level, right? So if we have to do something like that, then we'll do it. But I just don't think that will happen. And also at the end of the match, Okan Buruk did say that someone asked him about Mertens, and he said that he does think of Mertens as a player that plays behind the striker.
But he said he also has his best moments at the left wing. That's why, because since Kerem's not doing too hot right now, I'm thinking maybe he can utilize Mertens there.
Nah,
and, you
no
know-
need for experiments. Just need to have these players gelled up in their positions, and we should.
No
be good
need
to
for
go.
experiments. Or well, I have really bad news for you. Okan did a lot of experimenting with the midfield at Başakşehir.
Mm.
A lot. So don't even
Okay.
be surprised if you see Çikaldao.
Great.
Don't even be surprised if you see Çikaldao back
Center
playing
back.
in the midfield. No, he did really good things at Başakşehir, like getting players that were not thought of, like written out, and he brought them and they played much better. So don't write him out just yet.
Okay, so you support Başakşehir, Emre.
Oh
I
god.
support
Oh, here
Okan
it
Buruk.
comes.
All right, we got a second
Listen.
Yasin in here.
I'm gonna give a really hot take, and I understand it's a hot take. I understand that people will probably call me an idiot, and it is what it is. But as it stands right now, okay, I'm not talking about what's gonna happen in the future, what's happened in the past. I'm just talking about as of right now. I wish we didn't get Okan Buruk. I wish we didn't, because what I've seen so far is that he's had time to prepare. He's had time to think about our squad, what type of play style he wants. Like, he's had time to think about all this, and this is what he's come up with. And I'm really disappointed. And coaching Başakşehir is very different. You know, coaching a club that has 12 people in the stadium is very different than coaching Galatasaray. It's very different. And as of right now, looking at everything that's happened, I wish we didn't have him. I wish we had someone else.
I'd like to say I'm a bit confused in terms of what to think, because look, just like with Torrent, I said I'd give the guy a preseason and a whole year, and I think it's fair to give Okan Buruk the same. I hope we won't go towards a situation where all the fans are already beating him to death and asking for istifa, for his resignation. So I just hope he finishes off the season no matter what. We just need to be consistent with the coaches we get in. Consistent in how they can establish themselves within the club. We just had a massive breakdown before Torrent when Fatih Terim left in presidents, in management, in staff, in translators. Torrent tried to build that up. Yeah. I mean, you know the news. How many translators have we shat on since Matt left, right? So Torrent tried to build that up, didn't have the time, didn't get the time. And now we're trying to do something similar again from the ground up. And that just needs time. And I hope Fatih Terim won't come back in the winter, even if it's to finish off his Netflix season ending. And we can just continue with Okan. I'll shit on him in May.
I fully agree with Samet here. I fully agree with Samet here. I get the reaction, and yes, the football doesn't look pretty. In the end of Galatasaray, I care more about the points we get, and yes, we have lost one game already, but just like Samet, I'll have a more critical talk about him in May. Because again, if we do all this switching around every time we just don't get results we want, we'll get in these players which fit different football philosophies all the time, and that just won't match. Like, we'll get a whole melting pot of different players who just don't work together, and then we'll end up now something like a United, and I don't want that. I'd rather have Okan ride out this season, maybe even next season. I'm more lenient than your average fan, I guess, but yeah. But I do get what John says. I do get it. So far it looked really horrible. I don't know what I'm watching.
What I do want to add, Salih, one thing that's super important, like very important, is even when you're playing bad, that you get the 3 points. We've seen that during our winning spell with Galatasaray, back then under Fatih Terim and the Selçuk and Felipe Melo.
God bless him.
Even when we were doing super bad in a game, we still got that win. We still got that 3 points. And that's what reminded me of against Ümraniyespor. Terrible overall, but we got the 3 points. And that's what
counts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what counts, exactly. And playing, that's also something I've learned.
Which
over
was the
years as
opposite
well.
last season. We were playing sometimes very good, but we didn't get the 3 points.
Yeah.
That's
I was
a
just
bad
gonna say
habit to
that.
break.
I've also learned over the years that even though the eye wants to see pretty football can be very frustrating too, due to the amount of chances you start missing, etc. This was efficient. Yes, first half was absolute trash, but we still got the points in the end. It was due to individual skill, I do have to say that. It was a shot from outside of the box by Gomes, like he just rocketed that in. But we got the 3 points, so I'm happy.
It shouldn't have come to that because Seferovic literally had the easiest chance on a plate to finish it off in the first 10 minutes. We just need to mesh, man. It's something, I see us getting... I may be a little biased towards Okan, okay? A lot of people know I've been wanting him since like...
Okanaholic.
Yes, exactly. His biggest simp. But we just got to give it time. I feel like we'll do much better. And at the time, I think he was the best option available. Maybe Nuri would have been okay. For me at the time, I was like, okay, Okan, but if Nuri comes, I wouldn't be mad. But like, I'm not gonna go and say, oh, he should be sacked right now. I like you, Samet, I'm gonna give him a year at least.
What Emre's, I think, just trying to say is that normally we go for the eye test first and then the stats, but this match felt the other way around. If you look purely on what our eyes saw, it looked horrible. The first half especially. Second half was better, but it didn't look good. But if you look at the stats, and let's say you were a live score supporter, you would say that, man, we've been banging. We had 24 shots, 10 on goal. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we only got a 1-0 win.
Okan had a good game
we
too.
Got robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serka was good again, yeah.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Especially that free kick, that low free kick. I was expecting him to...
Yeah. Every
Play
keeper that plays against us just becomes a star. It's always like this. I think we should slowly move on to the questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do the questions.
All right. This one is from Gunnar Sarai. Shout out Gunnar Sarai if you're listening. Oi, why is Kerem so angry all the time? Why is Yunus so lovely? And what do you do with a problem like Akbaba? That was my British accent. Not good, I know.
For our British listeners, we're really sorry about that.
When a Dutchie does a British accent, nice.
Yeah.
I can take that one or start it. First of all, Emre Akbaba, what do you do with him? You tell him to fuck off. That's for starters. That's what you do. And we've seen the same thing from him. Like, he was playing so good in the preseason, and then he's not effective at all, which, you know, we have Mertens now. Like I said, I think Mertens is going to play there, so we probably won't see much of Emre this season, maybe just here and there. But that's the first thing you do with him. Kerem, why is Kerem so angry? I think maybe he's a bit frustrated. You know, last season with Torrent, he was playing pretty much the complete opposite that he's playing now with Okan Buruk. So who knows what happens behind the scenes? Like, maybe he's unhappy with that or just frustrated with what's going on. And I think Yunus, on the other hand, is here again. He's back with Galatasaray. Like, I guess that was his goal, and he looks happy that he's trying his best. You can definitely see that. He's a hard worker. So we'll see. Hopefully, when the results start coming, we see both of them linking up a bit more during the matches, and a smile on Kerem's face. We'll see how it goes.
Mm.
I always wanted to see Emre Akbaba in a 4-4-2 alongside someone like Seferovic. Like, Emre Akbaba gets into a lot of positions, but the biggest problem with him is, okay, he's a number 10 playing as a number 10, but he has no vision sometimes. Can't do anything with the ball going forward.
It's like Omar.
Yeah, pretty much. So either we do something else with him, or I guess we just, call it a loss and send him back to Alanya, where he seems to be doing fine there for some reason. Maybe he just can't handle the pressure of being on a big team.
Utilization, my friend. Utilization. It's all about it.
Love it or not, we do need him because of the stupid foreign rule.
All right, I'll move on to the next question. Well, this one is not a question. It's by S.Boy, I guess Sasha Boy. He's saying, El Torera 34. Salaam alaikum, my friend. Jimbo Bom. Well.
Okay. Thank you. Salam alaikum, my friend. Salam alaikum. Chimbom. Hi, Chimbom.
Back to you, S-Boy. I think this one is a nice one for Salih. It's by @Mika Seri. He's saying, Van Aanholt is thinking that his position, similar to Zinchenko, I think, but end of every single attack, he did ridiculous choices. What do you think about him? Also, Mertens did the furcha to him.
Okay, these are some wild sentences too.
Yeah, I think it's
translate.
Google Translate. Yeah.
What do you think about him? I think he just asked, I guess, what I think of Van Aanholt. He can't cross. Well, we've seen that already. And just like the guy said before too, this season so far, again, just 3 games so far, he's been a bit more hit and miss. Also defensively, I don't think he has been as solid. It's just, there seems to be more actually of a communication problem between him and Abdulkarim and Torreira at the moment as our new DM. Sometimes their position seems to be kind of off. So I don't know if I have to exactly blame that on Van Aanholt or the new tactics, coaching, whatever, but...
Do you think he's like Zinchenko?
Zinchenko.
Arsenal?
I'm wondering if what he means by that with the Zinchenko thing is, I think, like, watching the Arsenal game today, I noticed Zinchenko was coming inside quite a bit when Arsenal was building out of the back or when they had the ball. So I'm wondering if he's asking about that. What do you think about that, Salih?
Zinchenko's position, as far as I know, for Ukraine, he plays in midfield, for example.
Oh.
He used to play at left back for City, but that's because, well, they're all very technically gifted, so they can play anywhere anyway. Basically, what he's saying is, if Van Aanholt, or is he like that? And we've seen that on the torrent, right? He would drift more. He would play a more inverted winger role / almost a central midfield role. And I think he can do that better than your traditional wing back who just bombs down the byline and tries to cross it in, because that's just something he can't do. I think he's better at like a cutback, like a low hard pass back to a striker who's ready to shoot it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the second half of his question, he was saying every single attack he did ridiculous choices, and he can't cross the ball. He can't cross the ball. So and this is what's such a curious thing about that. So Okan Buruk is playing in a way where our wingers are coming inside and the fullbacks are staying really high and wide when we have the ball, right? Which is interesting. But then when Van Aanholt gets the ball, he can't cross it. He does nothing with it. So I'm not sure what to say about Van Aanholt. He really has to improve himself there, or else we need to see Kazımcan like now, because he's been really, really bad.
For me, I think utilization. These past 2 games don't show anything to me yet. I think it needs time. Van Aanholt, I think he is actually just like a Zinchenko and should be played just like a Zinchenko.
Yeah, and then I guess I think we had one more question. Was it the last one or was there more?
One last one is from Saint Gala Race. Can you guys discuss Seferovic at detail? I think Gala are in catch 22 here. Gomis is clearly outperforming him, but should we continue to start him? His confidence is rock bottom. There's also talk of another striker being signed. Tough situation, guys.
Yep. It is a tough situation because now we're linked with Icardi.
Oh God, no! Please, no!
You-
God, no!
Man, it's heating up. It's heating up. There's more and more news about that. So we'll see what happens with that. But Seferovic, I know he has the ability, man. I know he does. For sure, he has the ability to score goals. And I think it's a case of, him just scoring one. And once he scores that one and the pressure's off, maybe it'll be he can relax a bit more and things will happen. But I think another thing is we need to give him the service as well. Like this last game that we played, he got a few chances, but the games before that, I was saying I don't think he had much service, right? And he's not going to score if he doesn't get service. But then on the other side, you have Gomis, where he's getting one chance and scoring. Like he's played a total of like 10 minutes and he's scored 2 goals and he's won us 6 points. So I don't know. It is, like he said, it's a very tough situation. Do I think that Gomis has earned the right to start? I think so. I mean, probably would I start him? I don't think I would. I would still ride this Seferovic train and try to get him in form because I think in the long haul he'll be more useful than Gomis. But Gomis, I don't know what to say about the guy. I wrote him off, but he's coming in and he's won us 6 points so far. So maybe he can just adapt to that role coming off the bench when we need him and trying to make something happen. Clearly that's working.
This is the role that we've talked about, right? That starting Gomis, in my opinion, is the wrong move. He doesn't have the stamina to keep up with a 90-minute game. But subbing him in after there's like 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes left, I think that's the ideal situation for him. He can just use his experience, his body, because he still has energy left.
Bro, that ass.
To make the most to make the most out of whatever he gets. Just like this goal. Like, who thought it would go in? It was pretty far off from goal.
Yeah.
And he still made it happen. That's, I think, his quality. That's the way we should use him. And Seferovic, well, I assume and I hope his confidence isn't rock bottom yet after just 3 games of him not scoring. I mean, that can happen, right? But just like Jana, I would still use Seferovic, as he mentioned before. I think he's more useful in the long term for us. We need him to play more minutes, and therefore I should just start him. Because let's say his confidence is rock bottom, what's the worst thing you can do? Just sub him off. Like that's not gonna help him, right? That's gonna make it only worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, just 1 goal and pray for the best.
It is a catch-22.
Because so far we've only scored like 2 goals, 1 in each match that we've won. I think once we have a game that already has 2 or 3 goals, some confidence will be back in the team, some winning mentality, some passion will come back a bit more, and then we'll see our.
We have some possibilities, some big chances, some big occasions.
There's a small problem though. Okay, Gomes is coming off and starting. In his head, he doesn't want to be, a bench player. He wants to come and play off the rip. And if you don't, you're stuck in a situation where your player who's getting you these wins, these points, wants to play, and you're not gonna play him. That might create a void between him and Okan. And I don't know. This Trabzon game, I would rather play Seferovic first, and then maybe bring Gomes on the second half.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that would be true though, as we know how old Gomes is already. I think he conducts himself more as a role player really than someone we're going to have for the future, because his future is not going to last that long anyway.
But the thing is, like, exactly, I think Emre is like spot on. Gomes could be really unhappy, but like what's going to happen? Like, he's going to be unhappy and leave. Okay.
Where's he going to go?
You're 40 years old. Like, okay. So that's your option. You're going to be a role player for us or nothing at all. So it's not like if Torreira or one of these guys or like Kerem or Yunus or something, they were really unhappy, and okay, then it's a bit of a trickier situation. But with Gomes, it is what it is. You're approaching the end of your career, so
yeah. And his last point about another striker being signed, I think there's rumors about Belotti and Icardi. I don't know if I want Icardi at all. Belotti, possible. Like I would like him.
I'm telling you, I saw it in the eyes of Mertens and Torreira. He was on that plane. Belotti was on that plane.
Now, for me, on these 2 players, I would like both. I mean, not like that I would want to sign both, because that would be very expensive. I think we'll run into financial problems. But I wouldn't say no to either. I do prefer Belotti over Icardi, but
Yes.
I wouldn't say no to Icardi. He's a world-class player coming from PSG. The only problem I might have with him is because he comes from such a club, might be his attitude problems, like in his work rate and other stuff.
Also
Belotti
his
comes
life.
from Torino.
We should get
His
Wanda, bro.
wife?
Yeah, his in his life he has problems with his manager now, which is also his wife apparently.
Yeah.
So
What
yeah,
what
that's a
tag
great
team that
decision.
is. Yeah, bro.
that cannot possibly go wrong at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far agents that are relatives haven't gone wrong, like with Grilic. His father
Yeah.
was his agent. Now it's his wife.
Exactly.
Who's next? I think Rabiot from Juventus looking for a club. His agent is his mom, from what I know.
Oh, wow.
All right, that's different though. Your mom's always looking out for you, no matter what. Conditional
Ah,
love.
mama's
Alright.
boy.
Mama's
I am
boy.
a mama's boy. What can I do?
Cengiz Ünder is being discussed as well.
That would be so weird for me. I don't know.
Apparently, he's not having a good time with Tudor, and Tudor is
Mhm.
not having a good time at Marcia as well. so-
Yeah. Yeah, they want to kill him over there.
exactly.
Is he? I thought they won a game today. Let me see again.
Yeah, but dude, they were like protesting for him to be out. Like they were going crazy over that.
Yeah.
You missed that, Salih? They were trying to boot him out already,
no,
man.
I do know that. I
Yeah.
do know that. There was
Yeah.
already
I
Yeah.
thought
some
he
chaos
already
at the
got
club.
kicked out.
No, no, he's coach. And he hasn't lost yet. Undefeated. 3 games. Just saying.
Classic Tudor.
Yeah, that's typical, man. That's vintage what he's doing. Just wait until they play the derby.
But
Yeah.
it's not
They're
all
in for
about
a
fitness
surprise.
and
Body,
3
I mean.
points. Total football, man.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Hey, we're dwelling too much. I think let's take the scores against Trabzonspor and then we'll close it off. John,
Oh boy, away to Trabzon.
they're playing against Copenhagen as well before.
Yeah, they might be a bit run down. They got smashed today, 5-2 against Antalya.
Yeah.
You know,
We're above them in the league, by the way.
yes. Yeah. This is surprising. I'm going to say 0-0.
It's a classic result. Let's put it that way. I've lost
Yeah.
many bets because I
Yeah.
gave Gala and ended up a draw.
Welcome to the
Don't-
club, buddy.
Bet on your own team. Should know that by now.
Yeah.
I think I said 2-2 tie.
Mm.
There's no way I don't see anyone scoring that derby.
Okay. I never learned from history and my previous mistakes. I'm going to say
Mhm.
after maybe 10 years of doing these predictions against Trabzonspor, which is a fucking curse, it always ends up in a draw, but I'm still going to keep my optimism and say 3-1 for Gala.
Oof. Massive.
It's
Wow.
time that Okan Buruk gels this team and shows us.
Salih?
That leaves me. All right, let me think this throughly. Trabzon away, man.
Just say it. You think we're going to get smashed. I know where
No,
you're going
not
with
smash.
this.
Okay, I'm saying 1-2 Trabzon. 2-1 Trabzon. I think we
Okay.
might lose. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Because
Okay,
so far the
okay.
teams we've faced haven't been of the highest caliber, except for Antalya, which was tough,
And we
obviously.
can't
away.
score. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't score really, so maybe we'll score another goal. But defensively, I have a few questions, so I think we might net in 2.
Mm.
All right.
And there's also something that I had a call last night. I don't know if you guys know the wrestler Rey Mysterio. He wanted me to give this message to all our listeners. So
Booyaka. What's up, my man? You know who this is, right? Yeah, I figured. The mask gave it away. That's right, Rey Mysterio. Hey, I want to take this time right now to make a special announcement. I want to make sure that you know this and apply this to your daily life rule. There are 2 things that are very important in life. Please don't ever forget this, all right? Being a Rey Mysterio fanatic and being a Galatasaray champion, all right? So, booyaka, 619.
all right.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Thanks, dude. I mean, Rey Mysterio fanatic. I have nothing to do with wrestling, but the other one, Galatasaray, yeah, for sure. Thanks, bro.
Man knows what's
Thank
up.
you, man.
Man knows what's up. I don't know if you guys are into wrestling, but
Nope.
I am.
I am when I was
Alright.
younger, not anymore.
it's all fake, bro. Don't let Ray.
That's what my
hear
dad
that.
always said. Always. This where you watch some fake shit. I just enjoy it, man. Let me just be.
All right. Then it's time to say goodbye. To all our listeners, thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter, ask us questions on Twitter. Our handle is @TheLionsDenGS. And surprise, surprise, we have a Patreon. It's also patreon.com/@thelionsdengs. If you want, you can support us. If you don't, no hard feelings. But it's there if you want. Have a good day.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Bye.